Hey everyone, so I'm back again with another video. This time around I have another entry in my PS Vita collection update series. This is part 2 and the final part of this collection update series. I only have about 40 games in total, so I decided to split that up into 2 videos rather than making one extra long video. So in this video we're going to be looking at games in my collection from alphabetical order, from the letter R through to the letter V. So without further ado, let's get to it. So the first game that I have here is just a sort of shovelware title that pretty much the only purpose that this game serves is to sort of show off all the different features of the Vita. It was an okay game in terms of it being a tech demo showing what the handheld was capable of doing. And, I mean, it is an exclusive game for the Vita, so it is something that you're going to want in your collection, especially if you're planning on getting a complete Vita collection. Of course, you're going to want exclusives. It's Reality Fighters, just not that fun of a fighting game, but it was something different. And if you can get it for a couple dollars, you might as well. I think I might have gotten this for like $1 or $2 from EB Games on clearance. The next game that I'm going to show you guys is actually one that I have the special edition of. It's Senran Kagura Shinobi Versus. Now, there is a sequel to this game as well that was also released for the Vita, but it's also on the 3DS. This here is a sort of 3D arena beat-em-up kind of game, but if you can tell by the character models there, I should actually say not the character models, but the sort of anime versions of them, they all have massive boobs and are not really all that proportionate. In this game, you basically fight until the clothes get ripped off, and then they're wearing different kinds of underwear, bathing suits, other things. It's pretty weird, but honestly, it was kind of enjoyable to play, but it gets sort of canceled out by the fact that it is a kind of creepy game. So, not for everybody, but it is for someone. And then this here is the special edition of it that of course has a creepy name. It's the Let's Get Physical edition. And this one here came with an art book and a music CD. Now the music is okay in this game, but I really don't think I should ever crack open that art book. Just because considering what the characters look like in this game, the art book is definitely going to be a mixed bag of just crazy. Now the next game here, I don't have much to say about it because I just got it recently. It's Shinobi 2 Revenge of Zen. If anybody knows anything about that game, just let me know in the comment section below. And I think I ended up grabbing this just because it seemed somewhat interesting, but it is also a only on PlayStation game, so I thought, sure, why not? Next game is another game that I got recently, and I have been playing this, but it is honestly a pretty difficult game. It's Shiren the Wanderer, the Tower of Fortune, and the Dice of Fate. It's just a sort of port of the older Shiren game. I forget what console it was released on, but I think it was either Super Nintendo or NES. I forget how old it is exactly. But it's just a sort of mystery dungeon game, and it is extremely hard. I sort of went into it right at the beginning, not being too certain what to expect, and upon reaching halfway through like the first dungeon, I just died and lost everything and have to figure out what the hell I'm going to do in that game about sort of starting over again. It was a mess, but it's mostly just because I suck at it. I'll get used to it eventually, and then I'll sort of devote a lot more time to it. Because I do like mystery dungeon games, they're just hard for me to start out with. The next game here is Silent Hill Book of Memories. Definitely not a Silent Hill game, very tame and bland. The gameplay, again, in this game is very bland as well. Um, I really can't say anything about this like that's positive, because the visuals suck, the gameplay sucks. The fact that they're calling it a Silent Hill game, but it really isn't, also makes it suck. It's just Silent Hill has gone downhill, and who knows where it might be in the future, or if it's just dead already. But again, who knows. Next game is Sly Cooper Thieves in Time. I have played just a little bit of this. Not the biggest Sly Cooper fan, but I am trying to put more time into Sly Cooper games. But at the end of the day, especially during the 6th generation, I did like Ratchet and Clank and Jak and Daxter more. And I know, of course, that the gameplay styles, the gameplay styles are different between those games and this game here. Of course, there's a lot more stealth in this game, but out of like the 6th gen mascots, like the mascots that arose during the 6th generation, definitely Sly Cooper fell into like a distant third for me, and I'm gonna have to give some more time to Sly Cooper there. Next game, just shovelware nonsense, smart as. I think it's some kind of quiz puzzle game, like a brain age kind of game. But I have not actually played this. I got it for, I think, like $1 or $2 again at EB Games on clearance. But yeah, I mean, considering that it is an only on PlayStation game as well, if it's only a couple dollars, I'm going to grab it and add it to the collection. The next game here is another dungeon crawler. This one here, though, is kind of weird because it also includes another gameplay feature where you make curries, and they have different effects in the game as well. It's a really weird game, and it had a really weird special edition, and I completely forget why I even wanted this in the first place. I think at the end of the day, when I went to pick this up, I didn't care what I was getting. I just wanted to get this thing and just take it home and be done with it. It's Sorcery Saga Curse of the Great Curry God, and I did get the special edition as well that is called the Hot and Spicy Everything Nicey Limited Edition. And again, by far one of the weirdest limited editions I've ever purchased or ever seen. It comes with a bib, a plate, and a spoon as well, I think, if I remember correctly. Plate, spoon, and bib, yeah. And I think there might be a music CD or something else in there, but I honestly don't remember, and I'm not going to bother opening the box because it's actually a lot more complicated than it looks like it is, but it was just so weird, and I was like, I have to have this thing, so I went ahead and bought it on the most inconvenient of days. In fact, I got it on Christmas Eve a couple years ago when there was the most terrible snowstorm ever. I had to go get the game, and I had to go all the way across the city to pick it up too. It was a big hassle, but at the end of the day, I just really wanted to get it. And have I really enjoyed the game that much? Not that much, but not to say that it's a bad game. I just haven't devoted as much time to it as I did trying to get it in the first place. Moving on, next game here is Soul Sacrifice. This one here, I got it when Target was closing down, and they had it on clearance for $10, but again, another game that I have not really played on the Vita. Now, moving on to some games that I have played more, we have Street Fighter Cross Tekken. I like Street Fighter, I like Tekken. When I saw that this was a thing, I was like, I have to have it. I actually didn't find out that this was even a thing until, like, well after the game actually came out, and the reason why I really wanted this as well is because it did have exclusive content on the Vita version, and it did offer some crossplay features as well. And whenever there is crossplay for Vita to PS3 or Vita to PS4 or the other way around, it's a bonus for me, so really wanted to get that game there. Next game is Super Monkey Ball Banana Splits. Now, I've played a lot of the Super Monkey Ball games. Can't say that I hate it or dislike this game. It's pretty much just your generic Super Monkey Ball experience. But I have to say that it made a lot more sense to play this on the Vita than it did on a console, especially with the motion control and the touchpad interface as well. Definitely made the game seem a lot more playable than on a console with a controller. So definitely a fun game, but yeah, I mean, you can play Super Monkey Ball games on almost not every console, but on a lot of consoles, so there are other options for it as well. Next game, Long Stupid Story. I've talked about it many times in the past, and I don't know if I will ever actually end up playing this game now because it just made me really mad. Sword Art Online: The Lost Song. That's it there. I'm not even going to bother to go over the story this time. Next is a game that I got shortly after the PlayStation TV was released in North America. PlayStation TV, you might be able to see mine up there on the shelf, about right there. The reason why I don't have it plugged into my TV anymore is because it was just taking up too much space, and at the end of the day it was kind of a waste of money. I ended up getting it the day it came out, spent $150 on it. Was just a very, very big mistake. But this game here, at least, it was somewhat enjoyable playing it on the PlayStation TV, but at the end of the day, I could just play it on my Vita, and it actually looked better on the Vita. I think having it on my TV, even though it's not that big of a TV, just made it look even worse, so I just went on to play it on the Vita. Have not actually finished this game to this point, but I did have a lot of fun, and it did look nice while playing it on the Vita itself. It's Tales of Hearts R, and it's just another entry in the Tales series. This one here is, I think it's supposed to be like a redux of the actual Tales of Hearts with something else added, but I honestly can't remember what the difference is between Tales of Hearts and Tales of Hearts R. So if somebody else can answer that for me, just let me know in the comment section below. Next game was a game that was relatively short, but it was very enjoyable. Love playing this on the Vita, and I think there is a PS4 version of it as well, or a PS4 sequel. Can't really remember right now. Game that I'm talking about is Tearaway. I finished this game really fast, though. I 100%ed this game in the matter of 2 days at the very most. Not 2 days straight, but just spread out between 2 days. And of course, yeah, it was a short game, but what I did play was fun and enjoyable. And the story had its moments where it sort of drew me in, and that's the least that I can hope for. That it did have moments that I did enjoy, but otherwise, yeah, if you can get it for cheap, go ahead and get it. Do not pay $30 or $40 for this game. I honestly don't even know what it goes for anymore, but if you can play Tearaway, if you get access to it, I highly suggest that you do play it. Next game is another fighting game. It's Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. I have to say, usually playing a fighting game on a handheld is a big mistake, especially playing certain fighting games on the 3DS. Just not doable. But considering that the Vita is very rounded, it actually feels better in the hand, and playing Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3 was actually pretty fun on the Vita. But again, it is also on PS3 and 360, so you have other options. But it is nice to have it ported to the Vita as well. Next game here, I have not actually gone around to playing this one yet. I did play the previous one. It's The Walking Dead Season 2 in the Telltale series. I have no idea what happens at all in Season 2, and I do have it digitally on the PS4, if I remember correctly. PS4 or PS3, I forget right now. But I have it digitally, and I have it physically on other consoles as well. But I feel like when I play Telltale games, if there are handheld options available, I'm going to go ahead and play it on the handheld. But for the most part, it seems like most of them are just on console or on PC. So hopefully I can find more that are on handhelds, but right now I honestly don't even know which ones have been released on a handheld. But Walking Dead, I like the series, I like the comics, not that I really follow the comics, but I do like them. And I had been watching this show and the spin-off show as well, but I sort of lost track of it near the end of the last season, and I need to catch up still to this day. But hopefully I can get around to playing that sometime soon. But I've been playing the Borderlands Telltale game, so probably going to be a while until I get to this one here. Next game here is also another Telltale game. Also a game that has been released on multiple consoles and on PC as well, if I remember. It's The Wolf Among Us. And this one here, I've only played, I think it's by chapters, but I don't really remember right now. I played the first chapter of it and got really pissed off at the end of the first chapter. So I want to get back to this and see how it all works out. But I'm still kind of mad at how the end of the first chapter worked out. So I don't know how soon I will be getting back to this. But I do want to get back to it, but I also don't want to get back to it. So I'm kind of struggling on that one for the time being. Just two more games to go here. First one of the last two that I'm going to show you guys is Ys Memories of Celceta. Sorry if I'm saying that wrong, because I honestly do not remember how it's said. I also have the special edition of this game here called the Silver Anniversary Edition, and this one here came with a lot of stuff. It has multiple music discs, a compass, a cloth map, an art book, and a bunch of other crap that I don't quite remember right now and can't make out on the back of the box either. But the game itself is a pretty decent RPG. In the Ys series, I mean, I think if I remember correctly, this is supposed to be the third or fourth game, but I'm not too familiar with the Ys series. It has been a long-lasting series that's sort of still there in the background, but this series has been around for, I want to say, about 20 plus years now. Not too familiar with it, but I'm aware that it's been a thing for some time. And in the last sort of decade or so, games really haven't been coming out in North America. So the fact that any of them have come out at all, even though it's pretty much just a port of an older game, sort of just updated slightly, it is still nice to see it. Now the last game here is a sequel to another game that I have on the 3DS, I'm sorry, not the 3DS, the DS. I have not finished the DS version. I'm almost finished the sequel on the Vita, and they recently released a third game in the series for both the Vita and the 3DS. It is the second entry in the Zero Escape series. It's Virtue's Last Reward. This one here is a cross between like a visual novel and an escape, a room escape kind of game. Very, very enjoyable experience. Puzzles are hard, but not like really hard to deal with. But the main reason to play this game is to see how all the characters make their way through the story and try to see which way you're going to go, what characters are going to survive to the end, and what the hell is even happening to begin with. And hopefully by the time that I finish this game, I will know exactly what happened out of my choices. But again, have not finished it, really close to finishing this, but yeah, I do not want to move on to the third game until I finish both this one and, well, I need to finish the first one as well, called 999, 9 doors, 9 persons, 9 hours, I think is what it was called. 9 hours, 9 persons, 9 doors. I got it kind of backwards there. But that brings us to the end of my updated Vita collection. As always, leave comments in the comment section below. Anything you'd like to say, comments, questions, suggestions, ideas, anything at all, and I will get back to you as soon as I possibly can. Check out my Facebook, Twitter, and website. They're all linked in the description below. And also linked in the description below is a link to my 500 subscribers contest. Check that out as well if you'd like. And that's it. See ya.